friends, welcome to another episode of the Killingly Public Library's craft videos series. So today we're going to make a pinecone succulent terrarium. And you want to start with a pinecone. You can go out and scavenge them in the forest, or you could purchase them at a craft supply store. This happens to be one from a craft supply store that I was gifted from a friend. I was gifted a whole bag of them. So I don't really like the look of this one. It's kind of a little messy at the bottom, real thin. I'm going to try to cut off some of this with my scissors because I want to set it in this lid, and I think this is going to be in the way. So I have a really old yucky pair of scissors here. I'm just going to try to cut it with that. Yep, and that worked fine. I just cut that little end off because I want it to be kind of flat and lay more like so. But you may have a pine cone that you like just the way it is, and that's fine. I didn't like that end. So I have some green acrylic paint I'm going to paint the pine cone with, and hopefully I put enough in my paint pot. But we're just gonna paint the pine cone up, and you could use either end of the pine cone. I just kind of liked the way this end looked, but if you prefer this side, you could do that. If you have room in your terrarium, you could do 2 pine cones and do one of each. If you did scavenge your pine cones from the forest, you want to clean them up a little bit. They could be full of dirt, they could be full of bugs. If you're not sure if there's bugs, some vinegar and water, a solution of that, wash the pine cones with that, and that would get rid of any unwanted critters. Okay, my pine cone is completely covered in the green paint. I am going to set this aside and let it dry while we continue on. All right, now while our pine cone dries, we're going to take a bottle cap. This just happens to be the cap off of a bottle of juice. You could use a soda cap, a beer cap, I suppose, any kind of smaller item for the pine cone. We're going to make it be like the little, like a clay pot, but it's not going to be a clay pot, it's a juice lid. And I'm going to wrap it in yarn. That's what I had today. You could try some twine. You could even paint it if you'd like to make it look like a clay pot. The possibilities are endless. Use your imagination and see what you could come up with. I'm just going to dab some glue on here so that I can wrap the yarn around here. And do be careful if you're using hot glue that you don't burn your fingers. And you can see I've started wrapping, and I'm going to need a little more glue, and I'll continue on till I'm finished. We'll just cover the whole lid. I'll catch you when I'm done. All right, my cap is all covered with yarn, and you could do whatever you like to make it look like a pot. I just thought this was something simple and supplies that I had on hand. And we're just going to put it on top of a wood slice, so it's kind of, I don't know, very nature inspired. And then we're going to cover it with a glass, and you can certainly glue your glass on, but before you do that, you want to maybe take a little bit of tissue and kind of stuff it in the pot to look like dirt, or if you have dirt, you could put dirt in there. I don't have dirt in the library. You could also use a little bit of peat moss if that's something that you have. And then you can take your painted pine cone that you have. Mine's not quite dry yet, but if yours is, go ahead to the next step. And we're just going to dab a little bit of other color at the very tips of the pine cone, just the very edges, kind of very soft and subtle. You could use, I'm using pink, but you could use any color like purple or red, just something to kind of mimic the succulents that are actually in nature, right? So there you see, I've dipped just the edges a little bit on the pine cone with some pink paint, but you could use another color that would suit you. And maybe you want to do a different green even. This just happened to be what I had in the crafts closet. So once this is dry, you can set it in your lid, and you've got a little pinecone succulent terrarium. And if you used a bigger pine cone, you'd probably see it better than you can in my little, I have a really tiny one, and I went with a really yucky broken one so that I could maybe save the better ones for some other craft projects. Since I was just going to paint this and make it look like a succulent, it didn't have to be a perfect pine cone. So thank you so much for stopping in today and joining us for another one of our craft projects. And I'd love to see how your pinecone succulents come out. Please share your photos with us at info@killinglypl.org. Thanks so much and have a great day.